Alright, let's hit this gap here and try to land it in a manual. Oh my goodness! Skate is a profoundly disappointing experience, and it represents everything wrong with the modern day video game industry. I truly think that this game represents corporate greed at its finest, and that fans of the Skate series absolutely deserve better. And I know that before I get into this, there's a very good chance that I might get some comments saying things like, "It's in early access though," or "Why do you care? It's free to play," as if that completely invalidates any criticism I have against this game. Let me just get this out of the way. Skate is not an early access title. Sure, it may say that on the title screen, but if you actually look at the game closely for a second, you'll come to realize that it's just a thinly veiled excuse to justify an unfinished and underbaked product.
You guys have fun. I'll just be hanging out, bleeding to death, NBD.
When your early access game is selling in-game currency packs for up to $100 and season passes that can be upgraded with said paid currency, I think that you lose the right to be judged as an early access title. And besides that, I've actually been playing this since I got an invite last year from the Skate Insider program, so I think that I earned my right to voice my criticisms of this game, free to play or not. To all my long-term viewers, this video might seem like that bit from Diary of a Wimpy Kid where Wacky Dog says they can't joke right now because they have something serious on their mind, but this just feels too personal to be done in any other way. I've always had an admiration for skateboarding as a kid, ever since I saw Back to the Future for the first time. Watching Marty McFly hitch a ride on the back of a Jeep and escape from Biff and his gang in the town square made me fall in love with skateboarding, so much so that I actually got a longboard to try to learn with it. While I didn't get very far with skateboarding in real life, I was able to at least live out my dreams through Skate 3 thanks to its easy to learn but hard to master gameplay loop. Skate 3 allowed me to do all the tricks and moves that I wanted to do in real life without any of the fuss or potential pain. So with that in mind, it seems like I'm part of the targeted demographic for Skate, right? After all, EA only made this game because of the constant begging from Skate fans and the passion they had. However, when they announced that this game would be going free to play, I knew that this couldn't end well. But I decided to wait until I could get my hands on it before passing judgment. And then I got my hands on it.
Lots of mellow grinds to be had here. Looking for a sesh with a bit of a
Something tells me the jabronis and bros didn't stop here.
Look, whatever your thoughts on this game are, I think we can all collectively agree on one thing. Fuck this stupid ass AI companion. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Coach Frank was the pinnacle of writing, but how do we go from someone so natural and fitting for a skateboarding game like Coach Frank to something so, for lack of a better term, artificial and lifeless? We are in a world where AI slop is becoming more and more prevalent, while everyone is getting more and more sick of it. So with that in mind, one has to wonder if adding a character like this is just one big out-of-touch April Fool's joke. In fact, when I was playing the limited beta, or as they called it, the pre-alpha, I thought it was just a placeholder so that they could focus on the gameplay. But it's not, and the disappointment I felt when I opened the game upon release and heard her voice was astounding. And it's not just V, every character is disappointing, and it doesn't help that they all talk to your character like they're a toddler. Every mission you do with them feels like it should end with your character getting a participation trophy just for showing up because of how much they sugarcoat everything you do. This doesn't just apply to the characters, but it also applies to the world too, as everything feels so clinical and sterile and made to be a sort of perfect skater utopia. Everything feels like it was built to be as unsubtle as possible with its level design, with spots that were designed specifically for certain tricks and jumps. For comparison, the maps in the previous Skate games were designed to feel like a city first, which means that you not only had the sense of joy and accomplishment once you found that perfect spot, but it makes it more realistic to how skaters search for spots in real life, as, in reality, cities are designed as cities, not skate parks.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
By having these designated places for specific stunts, it leads me to just go to the same spots over and over again just to complete challenges, rather than encourage me to explore the city for interesting places like I would in games like Skate 3 or Skate 2. It also doesn't help that each district doesn't have any big differences between each other to really separate them, as they're all just city-based. In Skate 3, there was a downtown industrial and university district, and each one felt substantially different from the other, and as a result, the map was a lot more memorable. Skate's map, on the other hand, feels like it's way more suited to be a battle royale map rather than a vibrant city.
Where are we driving?
Not only that, but there's no verticality to any of the map outside of the buildings, and there are a ton of flat open spaces with nothing going on in them. This makes the map feel disjointed and unfinished, especially when compared to its predecessors. The most egregious example of this is the Imperva Towers. These areas are just massive asset dumps that stick out like a sore thumb, especially when compared to the rest of the map, and it doesn't help that they're mostly focused around the very basic and bare bones parkour system. I mean, floating platforms and rails? I'm here to play a skateboarding game, not Sonic Frontiers. And let me just get this out of the way, the art style sucks. This series went from a gritty, more realistic look to a bootleg knockoff Fortnite art style that doesn't even look good. At least with Fortnite, you can argue that it has a sense of cohesion and an appealing look to its art style. With Skate, its visuals make everything look like it'd be a made-up game you would see in the background of some B-tier TV sitcom. But the biggest sin that this game commits is the removal of the Hall of Meat. Look, skating is dangerous. It only takes one mistake to send someone straight to the hospital, and in previous titles, this could be seen through the Hall of Meat, which was a mechanic that rewarded you with points depending on how brutal your bail was. Skate 3 actually expanded on this by showing you an X-ray vision of what bones were broken and by giving more points based on that. It's based on the real-life Thrasher feature of the same name, and as a result, it ties in this real-life aspect of skate culture into the gameplay seamlessly. Unfortunately, it's gone in Skate thanks to this sparsely mentioned gear called Impervatech. Now, you can never get hurt, which I think takes away from the fun of doing stunt-based challenges, as you can no longer see the true impact of what you're doing, only the wacky ragdoll that comes with it. But you know what really bothers me the most about this game? The bugs. Dear lord, is this game buggy, and not in a good way. Look, I know that Skate 3's bugs and glitches were funny and a huge selling point for the game after its release, but you almost always had to go out of your way for them. At no point should I be in the middle of a challenge and have stuff like this happen. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Well, that's why it's in early access. I understand that, but this doesn't excuse the fact that this was a problem that has gotten worse with time. When the game first got released to the public, which is now known as Season 0, I almost never encountered issues like this, especially in a challenge. But after the Season 1 release, this happens far too frequently. It's super demotivating when you beat a challenge that's been kicking your ass, only to close out of it and see all your progress gone, as if you never did it. Why would I go through all that trouble again if it's just gonna bug out on me again and reset all the progress? And all of these things that I've been talking about, lead me to wonder, who was this game really made for? If you're like me and you saw their promotional videos before release, you might think that the game was made for fans of the original trilogy of skate games. After all, not only have they faithfully recreated the Flick-It system, but they have gone on record to say that this game was being made thanks to the years of requests from passionate skate fans. But I don't think that's the case. After all, there's a ton of missing features from previous games such as a story mode, Hall of Meat, minigames, races, and even some tricks and moves are gone. So that must mean that this game is meant for a new audience, right? After all, it's free to play, has daily challenges, and it's clearly based off of similar live service games like Fortnite. Not only that, but certain parts of the map seem to be designed to be farmed for quick 10-second clips that you would see while scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, so surely it's for that crowd, right? But I still don't think that's the case. After all, why recreate the Flick-It system to such an accurate degree? And not only that, but I don't see enough here to keep that same audience engaged for more than an hour every day. After all, once you finish all the missions, which is a glorified tutorial by the way, you have nothing left to do except unbox crates and level up your district rank, which caps at level 10. Once you do reach that point in the game, all that's left to do is complete the daily challenges, which are all the same thing every day with slight variations. With no minigames or story mode to play, most people will stop playing and move on to something else, which makes me wonder who this game was supposed to be for. This game's lack of content not only shows that this doesn't appeal to everyone like it wishes it could, but it highlights its biggest issue. The fact that this game feels like it designed its store first, and its gameplay second. Look at the story after all, it's in a far more complete and fleshed out state than the rest of the game, making it apparent that this game wasn't made for fans of skate or skateboarding, it was made for something else. Money. And look, I'm fine with a free-to-play game having purely cosmetic microtransactions as long as the game itself is fun. But that's not what I was promised here. I was promised the next true follow-up in the Skate series, and all I got was an imitation. A shell of a skate game that doesn't hold a candle to the series that came before it. And that hurts.
You promised these children Krabby the Clown, but all I saw out there was GB the Cheapskate!
Look, if you're having fun with this game, and you can ignore all the problems, then that's great. But for me, there's just so many issues that I don't think that I can. Even if they added more things each new season, the first impression has been burnt and spent, and that will forever sour my opinion on this game. To me, this isn't a skate game, it's just another skateboarding game. Thank you so much for watching, and please comment down below your opinions on Skate. I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe for more, and tune in next time for whatever I decide to cook up next.